Alabama, where the sun shines on the heart of Dixie, where today the Big Three takes center stage. First, Amar'e Stoudemire and high-flying Tri-State take on Threes Company, both hoping to secure their first win, followed by the Aliens and the Ball Hogs, and capped by Alabama native Jermaine O'Neal taking orbit with the Ghost Ballers against Royce White and the Enemies. We've come down south, the Big Three, next on CBS Sports Network. Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. First stop in week 3 of the Big Three. And our first game today, Threes Company against Tri-State. Let's take a look at the entire slate today. Game 2 features the expansion Aliens and the Ball Hogs, followed by Gilbert Arenas and the Enemies in Game 3 against the undefeated Ghost Ballers. And welcome, I'm Emmett Cohen. Great to be joined by the former NBA Coach of the Year, Avery Johnson. Should be a lot of fun today. And Avery, a couple of teams trying to get out of Birmingham with a W this afternoon.
Yes, and our first 2 games, we have 4 teams that are winless and desperate for a win. So those guys are going to play hard on both ends of the floor on every possession. And then in Game 3, the Ghost Ballers, they play the right way. They're so fun to watch. Their team plays with relentlessness, especially on defense, and they play with great chemistry and teamwork.
Let's take a look at our Game 1 rosters presented by State Farm. Threes Company led by Captain Dermarr Johnson. They'll be without Baron Davis here today. Tri-State minus Captain Jermaine O'Neal. So Avery, Amar'e Stoudemire, they need him to carry the load this afternoon.
Yeah, 6-time NBA All-Star. 2002 NBA Rookie of the Year. Amar'e does a great job of setting up his jump shots with power drives, fadeaway jump shots in the post. He was my preseason MVP pick.
Well, Dr.J Julius serving now with Tri-State today. So his former Philadelphia teammate Steve Mix, the mayor, is coaching Tri-State here in Birmingham. As for Threes Company, last year, the finalist in the Big Three to power. It's been a slow start this year, but they'll try and get back on track here today, led by Emmett and Drew Gooden.
Drew Gooden has done a nice job, especially from behind the three-point line. Their team name is Three. They need threes. It's threes, please. And he needs some more help, especially from Emmett, who we know is more of a defensive stopper. But he's 2 for 11 from behind the three-point line. And Dermarr Johnson is 0 for 12 from behind the three-point line. Speaking
of defense, one of the best in the 1980s, Michael Cooper, the 5-time champion with the Lakers in his second year, leading Threes Company. Let's revisit some of the key rules in the Big Three. First to 50 wins, you must win by 2. We'll get to halftime when one team has scored 25 points. No game clock. There is the very important 14-second shot clock. Look at some of the key free throw nuggets. You only get 1 shot if you're fouled from 2-point range. That'll come from the foul line. Other nuances as well. And the 4-point shot, unique to this league. A player must be touching any part of one of 3 4-point circles, which are 30 feet from the basket. And there is stat, Amar'e Stoudemire. Avery talked about how important he is to Tri-State. He had 18 points in week 2, the loss to power. 14 in the first half, went quiet after halftime.
Amar'e talked about it on yesterday. He said, we have to do a better job of finishing the games. And that's been one of their Achilles heels.
Underway in Birmingham, Stoudemire, Jason Richardson, Nate Robinson for Tri-State. Richardson, not enough that time, but he's going to the line for a 2-point shot.
That's why it's important for us to go to practice, Ed, the day before a game, because we can figure out and get a little insight on what each team's going to run the first play of the game.
Yes.
We watched them in practice yesterday. Yesterday, they worked on that play.
And you have unique insight into Jason Richardson, your time briefly with Golden State.
It's fun. Jay Rich was a young player, and I was an older, aging player, basically playing golf every day.
Well, you got to see someone rise to be a great player in the NBA. Let's see what Threes Company can do. Dermarr Johnson off the mark, and Drew Gooden with an offensive rebound. Emmett's going to step out wide open, and he drains it from 3.
And we talked about it in the open. Drew Gooden has been exceptional from behind the three-point line, but he needs some help. And Emmett, he must have heard our comments in the open.
Nate Robinson slips it to Stoudemire instead with the slam. They run that pick and roll a couple of times in their years together.
I watched that pick and roll in the 2006 Western Conference Finals. I wasn't a happy man when he picked and rolled and dunked the basketball.
Johnson in and out, and Stoudemire quickly to Richardson. Gooden forcing him to drive, and Stoudemire with the left hand.
Creating 2-on-1 situations is very important. So when you can pump fake like Jason Richardson did, created a 2-on-1 and made a nice short pass.
Emmett, MVP candidate a year ago, scores. He was the #2 pick in 2018, and last year with Threes Company averaged over 16 points per game. Jason Richardson, one of the top options for Tri-State. Mid-range Stoudemire, that's been very good to him in his years in the NBA and beyond.
Yes, he's a prolific mid-range shooter. His mid-range shot was as potent as other players' three-point shot.
A hard foul. He is going to send Drew Gooden to the line for a 2-point shot.
Pick and roll. Stoudemire just has such superb hands and footwork, which enables him, even at this stage of his career, to continue to be a dominant force in the pick and roll game.
Drew Gooden off the mark. Richardson quickly out to Robinson. And Threes Company goes back to work. Early lead for Tri-State. Tri-State in dark blue. You have Threes Company in orange. Gooden wanted the foul. Stoudemire in and out. Some might say Gooden was going for an early Oscar nomination there. Dermarr Johnson, and the rebound for Nate.
It's always going to be important, you know, what's going to happen with Tri-State, especially when Nate Robinson gets posted up. You know, how are they going to support him defensively? In talking to Amar'e Stoudemire yesterday after practice, he said we're going to mix it up. Sometime we're going to allow Nate to play one-on-one in the post, and sometime we'll support him with some help.
Dejon Thompson, Michael Cooper said, is as versatile a defender as he has on his roster, has come on for Dermarr Johnson. Stoudemire off the dribble. Tri-State 3-point lead.
Gooden is going to have to make a decision. As this game moves on, you'll see Gooden move up on Amar'e's right side and try to force him left, make him put the ball on the floor.
Emmett collects, fires. Here's Thompson against Robinson. Gooden straight on. Just not going down. As you said, how important that would be for Threes Company here today.
Yeah, it's critical for Gooden to make those three-point shots to draw Stoudemire away from the basket. Wow, what a one-on-one matchup with Stoudemire and Gooden. This is fun to watch.
Stoudemire 14 years in the NBA. Gooden likewise with 10 teams. 8-5 Tri-State. Richardson doesn't get the bounce. Emmett quickly out. Dejon Thompson takes Robinson to the rim, and it's going to stay with Threes Company.
Great defense by Nate. Quick hands, quick feet.
If you look at who's on the floor for Threes Company, Thompson and Jason Maxiell off the bench with Amar'e Emmett.
And with this lineup, look for them to play through Emmett in the post to try to create a double team and play 2-on-1 on the backside.
Emmett's going to the line, a 2-point shot. And we saw him posting up on Nate Robinson. That could be a real plus for Michael Cooper's team.
And talking to Michael Cooper on yesterday, obviously, you know, with Michael Cooper having so much success Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA during his career. He talked primarily about defense.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to talk about offense because they struggled to score, but he's still talking about defense. We need to improve defensively. Guarding penetration, weak side help, rebounding.
I need to solve Richardson, who has 5 early points for Tri-State. Emmett, nice move on Jay Rich to answer for Threes Company. Hey, you mentioned Michael Cooper, though. 5-time NBA All-Defensive First Team in his years with the Lakers. Everyone remembers the high socks for his skinny legs, and the best defender in the NBA in 1987. Stoudemire climbing the ladder.
And Michael Cooper's won on every level of basketball. WNBA, NBA as a player. But Jay Rich is on fire early in the game. Corner threes, that's the easiest three to make on any level of basketball, but offensive rebound by Amar'e.
It's a basketball evolution. It's a summer hoop solution. Some of the game's greatest names are taking the court for the Big 3 on CBS Sports.
Big 3. Tomorrow on CBS, the Big 3 heads to hot Atlanta. And the heat is on for the killer threes as Steven Jackson and Frank Nitti take their roughhouse style to face Coach Gary Payton's three-headed monsters. And you know the glove never backs down from a fight. Then Powers, Big Baby Davis, leads the reigning champs against Trilogy. Big 3 basketball, baby. We're changing the game.
Big 3 on CBS.
Tomorrow on...
Here are the first 13 points for Tri-State from Amar'e Stoudemire. They lead Threes Company, and Stat, 6-time NBA All-Star, the Rookie of the Year after being taken 9th overall by the Suns in 2002. Amar'e Stoudemire with the 3rd member of our crew. Let's say hello to Roz Golden-Woode.
Thanks, Ed. You know, Amar'e, I saw you before the game. You told me you're down 10 pounds. You've committed to conditioning, better eating. So how is being lighter translating on the court in a positive way for you?
You know, it just felt great. You know, last time I played in Miami with the Heat, Smoke was like, yo, if you get down to 235, get in the top shape, you'll feel so much better, and that's what I did. And so for the last 2.5 years, I've been able to get down to a low weight, great in cardio, and I feel great.
What's the difference in cardio that you're doing now versus what you might have done when you were in the league?
Well, a lot more sprinting, a lot more running, a lot more endurance training, and it's working out for me.
I know you've spoken very publicly. You want to get back to the league. How are you taking in and watching all of the free agency craziness that's been happening literally like minutes ago?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, that's great about the NBA is so many guys are trying to win championships and put themselves in a position to do that. So it's fun to watch, and hopefully I'll be there to join the guys.
All right, good luck in your journey back.
Okay, thank you.
Guys?
All right, Roz. Yes, Avery, as they alluded to, I think a lot of basketball fans didn't sleep all that much last night with the breaking news around 1 a.m. Eastern time.
And I was getting text messages at 2 a.m. from my kids. One that was in Austin, Texas, visiting a business school, and my son who's living in Los Angeles in the summertime. So I didn't receive the information until from my inside reporters, my kids, until early in the morning.
Now you need those guys all across the country, let you know. Let's see what Andre Emmett and Threes Company can do coming out of the timeout. Amar'e Stoudemire on Emmett is called for the foul.
So impressed with Amar'e. You know, he's a polite guy, but he plays physical on the court, and his game is really polished at this stage of his career.
Unfazed, right? Cool customer. I mentioned his time with Miami. Final 52 games of his NBA career, 2016 with the Heat. Jason Maxiell in the lane, soft spot, gets it to go.
I was on the same flight with Maxiell and his family yesterday, and his son, Jason Jr. I said, your dad's going to have a great game? He said, yes, yes, sir.
Senior with the block shot. Jason Maxiell, 10 NBA seasons, as Corsley Edwards, who played 10 games in his NBA career with New Orleans, able to drain it from the outside. So, Thompson, Maxiell, Gooden on the floor for Threes Company. Gooden, a couple of those, Avery, have been halfway down, but not getting it to go.
He's not shy. You know, early in his NBA career, you know, first-round pick you know, out of Kansas, wasn't looking to shoot the three-point shot.
Let's go down to Roz with more.
You know, guys, I had to get Amar'e back into the game, so we weren't able to go into more detail, but he told me before the game he got down 10, 15 pounds first by eating kosher. That's that Israeli and Jewish influence on his life. He's eating clean. Cardio change-up. When he talked about doing sprints, he's talking about length of the court, 30 seconds at a time, bursts, and he does it before and after practice and games. And he mentioned the heat. He also was used to running in Phoenix, and he feels that will be very useful in the run-and-gun type of way players are playing now in the NBA.
Well, thanks so much, Roz. Coach Roz, because she was holding up Amar'e getting in the game.
Yes. I love it.
Amar'e Stoudemire, Roz mentioned his time in Israel. He was granted Israeli citizenship, came out of retirement this past year, played for Jerusalem. On the floor with Corsley Edwards and Jason Richardson.
Roz knows something about playing basketball. She had an incredible career at Stanford, and just so glad to have her a part of the Big Three with us this weekend.
Good company. Here for Three's company.
She was a lockdown defender.
She was.
I think she can lock you down on defense, Ed.
There's no question. Great to have her with us here in Birmingham. Ed Cohen, Avery Johnson, our entire Big Three CBS Sports Network crew. Started the third weekend of this season. 50-50 balls, won by Three's company. Fly by, Gooden fouled. Was he behind the line? Let's find out. Corsley Edwards got him. It's going to be a three-point shot.
No, I think that maybe was a two. Looked like his foot was on the line.
Now, Gooden is standing behind the line. They're going to give him the three-point shot, even though the video evidence showed otherwise. Let's take one more look. Oh, no question. And the rule in the Big Three is if you're fouled shooting a three-point shot, you get one shot for 3 points beyond the arc. If you're fouled shooting a 4-point shot from the circle, that's where Richardson is now, you'd get one shot from that circle for 4 points. Richardson, a three-pointer, no good. Rebound to John Thompson.
I like to see teams attempt more 4-point shots.
Yes. Can make such a difference, such a momentum swing within a 3-on-3 game. Thompson with the step, Max Seal, easy finish.
And the reason why I like to see more 4-point shots, because, you know, teams are struggling to shoot the 3-point shot. You know, if you can make 1 or 2 4-point shots, it spreads the floor even more. It gives your post players more room to operate. We know the Big Three doesn't devalue the big man, but big men need space.
It's been physical. This foul against John Thompson for Three's company.
Defending penetration is important. If you're an exceptional defender and maybe you're not as good offensively, you can play in this game if you can defend guys and keep them in front of you with 2 or 3 dribbles, especially since the shot clock we're not dealing with a 24-second shot clock. We're only dealing with 14 seconds.
How about Drew Gooden there, way near the opposite baseline against Jason Richardson. Yeah, he's called for the foul, and Michael Cooper, he loved the effort, doesn't like the call. Gooden fronting Stoudemire. Shot clock at 5. Stripped by Maxfield and poked out of bounds. It will stay with Tri-State with 3 on the shot clock.
Speaking of Michael Cooper not liking the call, Ed, when I coached in the NBA and in college, I never really saw a bad call. I always loved the calls.
There you go. Ooh, Richardson almost tipped it in. Now, did that touch the rim? Officials will confer, because if it had, ball would have been loose and a chance for Tri-State. Let's see if you like this call.
Lots of confusion early in this game. Coaches are really animated on the court.
That comes back to the point you made at the top, the fact that both of these teams seeking their first wins here in 2019.
Yeah. This game should go down to the wire. And as much as the players compete against one another, it's also the coaches. These coaches want to win.
Emmett against Stoudemire. Kept it alive for Gooden. Drew Gooden. Fall away. High archer, no. And there's Stoudemire. Richardson. Three's not going down for either side. Tri-State is 1 of 5. Threes Company 1 for 7. Traditional basket that time from Andre Emmett.
That was a great job by Emmett, recognizing that, you know, he had one of the weaker defenders on him defensively. And finishing at the basket. It's not a lost art to drive and finish, because sometimes, Ed, you've heard it, it can be a $100 move and a 10-cent finish, but the last 2 times these guys have had $100 moves and $100 finishes.
Amar'e Stoudemire cashes in once again. He has 10 points, falls, and Emmett scores. Emmett leading the way for Threes Company. He now has 11.
Yeah, I think if the refs went back and looked at that play again, that was a charge. He extended his elbow. Stoudemire was in great position.
Stoudemire against a smaller Emmett. Takes him off the bounce. Hacked. Foul by Maxfield, and Stoudemire, little shaken up, is going to have a 2-point shot.
That was more than a foul.
That was Legion Field, Nick Saban type of stuff here in Alabama. Stoudemire a little shaken up. So I'm trying to wind up his left shoulder.
On that drive, I like to see Corsley Edwards maybe follow Stoudemire to the basket, because if Stoudemire gets trapped on the baseline, he can follow and maybe get a weak side dunk instead of standing on the perimeter. His man went to help. There was no support back towards him at the basket. So in that situation, moving forward, I think it's important for Corsley Edwards to follow him and maybe get a weak side dunk or be in position to get an offensive rebound.
This is a good position as Stoudemire makes a 2-point shot. Tri-State in the bonus. That's something Amar'e Stoudemire said they would try to do in this game. Get to the foul line, get the ball inside. Right now it's a 4-point lead over Threes Company. First to 25 gets us to halftime.
Stoudemire said, I didn't need to go to college before I went to the NBA. I'm going straight from high school, and this is the reason why. You know, I got catch the ball with 2 hands, 2-foot jump stop, prolific mid-range shooter, exceptional offensive rebounder, just a wonderful guy to watch compete.
Born in Lake Wales, Florida, and of Cypress Creek High School in the Orlando area, and a great start. Just like last week when they lost to Power, he has 12 of the first 19 for Tri-State. And Tri-State, we should mention, 95 points over the first 2 weeks of the Big 3. Avery, this is certainly one of the better teams to not come away with a victory entering week 3.
And I think it's all about their defense, because obviously they can score, but mixing up their defense, the first week they lost on the last shot of the game, and Stoudemire got caught in a pick and roll situation where they didn't know whether to switch or whether they were trapping the basketball. They couldn't rotate because the next defender was in a strong side corner on the same side of the action.
Ice Cube courtside in Birmingham as the tour continues. Tomorrow it's on to State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Well, Southern two-step here in week 3 of the Big 3.
You think if we do a good job, Ed, Ice Cube will allow us to be in his next movie?
Wow, you're already jockeying for a spot. I like it. Maybe we can get some seats on the bus. How about that? All right, 4-point lead for Tri-State. You have Edwards with the ball with Robinson and Stoudemire. Corsley Edwards off the window for the lefty out of Central Connecticut State.
Tim Duncan made that move quite a bit in his Hall of Fame career.
I heard you had a good seat for it at the beginning.
The bank was definitely open on Tim Duncan's shot. We used to call that 4 down.
To the tune of 5 titles as Gooden steps out and drains it. Big 3 will be in San Antonio on August 18th. That should be fun.
Yeah. One of the reasons I really love, being a part of the Big 3, I'm hoping that a lot of young people are watching the players, because guys have expanded their games, and the way to expand your game is practice and preparation, watching film. Guys have gotten better and better throughout their career, and they just talk about taking care of their bodies, eating right, conditioning.
Stoudemire, case in point to the basket. Tri-State 2 points, Avery, from getting this to the half.
Stoudemire said, Coach Avery, don't say that I can't go left. I can go right and left. What are you talking about?
Still got it. 36 years old, Amar'e Stoudemire. Three's company. 3 to shoot. Johnson in, too much. But Gooden, an offensive rebound with the 3. Drew Gooden drains it. Much needed for Three's company. Played for 10 NBA teams, Drew Gooden, wrapped up with the Wizards. To get us to halftime, Robinson, the drive. Stoudemire can't clean it up. And now it's Emmett for Three's company. Gooden is going to drive it on Nate. And it's going the other way. A charge on Drew Gooden.
Nate was on the floor complaining about a call, and unfortunately, Drew Gooden didn't shoot the 3. You're 6 for 12 coming into the game from behind the three-point line. There's not anyone between you and where the big 3 is being played tomorrow in Atlanta. There was a lot of space. Shoot the ball.
Now, Michael Cooper watching his team down by 1. Yakhouba Diawara in for Tri-State. And Nate Robinson is going to the line here after that foul. Cashes in. And with that 2-point shot, Tri-State with the lead at halftime, 25-22. Amar'e Stoudemire with 14 points. He was 6 of 10 from the floor for Tri-State. Julius Erving not coaching here today. Steve Mix, the mayor, is. And Steve Mix with Raz Goldanwude.
You know, Coach, I know you're stepping in with Dr. J out. What is your personal coaching style that you bring to the game today?
Well, you know, the reason I'm his assistant coach is because we kind of see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. So I'm just bringing his philosophy to what we're trying to do today, changing a few things up the way I'd like it to do them. But, you know, try to get that zone in so Nate doesn't get in foul trouble and a few other things. But basically, we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
Well, then you're the perfect replacement for today. And there's also a really good matchup happening right now between Amar'e and Gooden. You know, what's going to be key for Amar'e to continue to assert himself in the second half?
Well, I think you just give him the basketball. We can give him the basketball. I mean, he's so good at playing one-on-one that I think he can basically take about anybody out there. But we want to get him in the flow of the offense, move him around a little bit. Just don't come down and give it to him in the post. Move him around, set some screens for him, see if we can't score doing that.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Guys.
All right, Roz, thank you. So here in Birmingham, we're at the break of game 1 of our triple header. Nate Robinson and Tri-State with the lead on Three's company. More to come after this on CBS Sports Network.
Big 3 basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Here in Birmingham, Alabama, getting ready for the second half. Tri-State leading Three's company by 3. Ed Cohen with Avery Johnson. Amar'e Stoudemire. Tri-State made 9 shots. Amar'e made 6 all by himself. He was critical in that first half.
Amar'e, I think he has the sense that he's got to score 28 points plus tonight for his team to be successful. And I think the critical thing and most important is how he finishes in the second half. We've seen it before. He's provided a spark offensively in the first half of his first 2 games, but now how can he finish? How can he play down the stretch? That's going to be critical for his team.
Let's take a look at the first half stats. Three's company with an edge on the offensive glass. Emmett led the way with 13 points. How do you stop Amar'e Stoudemire? How about a former Defensive Player of the Year to weigh in? Michael Cooper with Raz Goldanwude.
Coach, Amar'e Stoudemire got it going. What are your priorities against him defensively?
I think what you have to do is just play him straight up one-on-one. And I mean, I don't think he can score 50 points by himself and contain everybody else. But you know what? He's in the best condition of the players this year because of playing overseas.
Now you've got a player in Baron Davis who's out because of injury. I've noticed he's being really animated on the sidelines. How much are you enjoying having a player-coach dynamic in Baron?
Well, you know, this is a players' league, so I love the fact that they are able to get out and say some things because they see what's going on. But sometimes he's in my way.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Roz, get out of his way. Baron Davis, who was electric last year, the co-captain for Threes Company. You know, Avery, it was great talking to Michael Cooper yesterday about his legendary battles with Larry Bird. Bird said Cooper was the toughest defender he ever faced. Cooper did say that Larry Legend was the toughest guy he had to guard, too.
And Michael Cooper, 8-time NBA All-Defensive Player, also said that Larry Bird talked a lot of trash to his opponents. But the great thing Coach Cooper said, he only talked a little trash to me.
How about Davis in his ear just before the half begins?
When Baron Davis has played, they've been a really good basketball team. They just haven't been able to solve a lot of different problems when he hasn't been able to play.
Good start for Threes Company, exploiting the mismatch. Dermarr Johnson against Nate Robinson.
I think you're going to see that zone. You're going to see that type of offensive strategy throughout the course of this game.
J-Rich, Stoudemire, Robinson for Tri-State. Richardson against Gooden, jump hook, no. Emmett with the rebound. Andre Emmett right back to work. He's going to the line for a two-point shot here for Threes Company.
Andre Emmett had 6 rebounds in the first half. And that was his 7 rebounds. So he's not only scoring the basketball, but he's doing a really nice job of rebounding it. And this is important for Threes Company, especially in the second half, you know, getting to the free throw line and making their free throws.
In and out for Emmett. Tipped. And finally secured by Stoudemire. Robinson had the step. Look off and a kick. Richardson all day. Andre Emmett, he's currently playing in Puerto Rico. Launches. Three-pointers not going down for either side since the jump. Richardson, same story.
He's having a hard time from the same spot. 2 threes in a row. Normally, as I alluded to earlier, that's the easiest 3. Corner threes.
A lot of contact, letting it go all over the floor. Out of bounds, going to stay with Tri-State.
When I was coaching both in the NBA and in college, one of the things you started off in training camp were 2-foot jump stops on penetration so that you can stay under control. That time Stoudemire got a little bit out of control, couldn't get to that 2-foot jump stop, which if he did, then he probably would have been able to make an on-time, on-target pass.
Matchup inside, you have Gooden fronting Stoudemire. Drags him to the perimeter. And last touch by Drew Gooden, but only 4 to shoot for Tri-State.
In that situation, I think as the game moves on, you'll see Stoudemire spin.
4-point shot for Nate Robinson, rainmaker. There it is.
We prayed for it, we asked for it, and Nate delivered. 4-point shot. Maybe he'll attempt another one.
29-24 Tri-State. Largest lead in the first half with 6 for Tri-State. Johnson can't finish. Emmett, second opportunity. Gooden. Good rotation by Richardson. Emmett, tough shot, too much. Never hit the rim. Stoudemire, no. Richardson, yes. It's amazing when the ball doesn't hit the rim, the awareness you have to have on the rebound.
Yes, he's the honey.
Dermarr Johnson couldn't get it over the smaller defender. Largest lead for Tri-State here in Alabama. Robinson.
Not much movement for Tri-State right now. Lots of isolation basketball. There's no diversionary tactics on the weak side with the other 2 guys. There needs to be some movement, some cutting.
Mention the threes, Avery. Threes Company have 2 for 11. Stoudemire is going to the line for a 2-point shot. Nate Robinson, the biggest shot so far today.
Just awareness on Nate's part. You know, with a 14-second shot clock, the shot clock was down to 2, and instead of trying to drive and get to the basket or shoot a 3, maybe a mid-range shot, that's probably what he had time for, he decided to attempt a 4-point shot, and he was successful.
Stoudemire off the mark. 31-24 Tri-State. Dejon Thompson in for Threes Company. Emmett the drive. Stoudemire late to recover. Called for the foul.
The fouls are going to start adding up, but the Threes Company, they're going to have to start making their free throws.
Yes.
Tri-State is leaving Amar'e out on an island by himself, which that means they're not giving him much help. They're allowing him to play him at one-on-one.
Loose ball foul. This is on Andre Emmett. You mentioned the free throws for both sides right now, leaving a lot of points on the board.
And that was smart to try to go after the free throw rebound. But great job by Tri-State boxing out.
Tri-State getting the matchups they want. Stoudemire against the smaller Emmett. No problem for Stat.
When a smaller guy is posted up on the box, you have to force him middle because there's no help baseline.
Thompson, rim down, offensive foul for extending with the arm. And Tri-State Avery is going to take over in the midst of an 8-0 run, a 33-24 advantage.
And we've seen this from Tri-State before. Now the key is going to be, this latter part of the game. Are they going to have exceptional ball movement? They're outstanding in this 8-0 run.
Andre Emmett, one of the stars for Threes Company, mentioned no Baron Davis once again, and they really need Emmett because last year was such a key part of what Threes Company did. Here's what he's done so far today in Alabama.
Got off to a good start from behind the three-point line. He mixed in his drives, especially when he had a mismatch against Nate Robinson. But Tri-State looked like they made a conscious effort on his drives to just basically foul him. He hasn't been successful from the free throw line. Great job. He has a double-double already, but he's going to have to knock down his free throws.
It's been the free throws. It's been the shots in the field. They missed their last 7. Stoudemire took it right at max seal. And on the other side, Tri-State struggled from the line as well, but they've also gotten there quite a bit. Both these teams last year, very impressive seasons in 2018. Your Threes Company, they were 5-3, lost to Power for the championship in Tri-State. Also losing to Power in the semifinals, a terrific one by 2, 51-49.
And look for Stoudemire to continue to be aggressive. The great thing about when you get to the free throw line and you make your free throws, you want to continue to mix up your game. A lot of times, historically, when a guy struggles from the free throw line, he's not as aggressive offensively because he loses that component to his game, but not Stoudemire.
Right back to work. We've hit 37. Tri-State a 13-point lead. Avery hits a 12-0 run.
Stoudemire said, you better read the scouting report because I love to go right and finish.
Tomorrow on CBS, the Big 3 heads to hot Atlanta. And the heat is on for the killer threes as Steven Jackson and Frank Nitti take their roughhouse style to face Coach Gary Payton's 3-headed monsters. And you know the glove never backs down from a fight. Then Powers, Big Baby Davis, leads the reigning champs against Trilogy. Big 3 basketball, baby. We're changing the game.
Big 3 on CBS.
Tomorrow on CBS.
Tri-State a 13-point lead on Threes Company. Wednesday night, CBS Sports Network brings you more hoops with the WNBA taking center stage. Don't miss Minnesota against Chicago at 9 Eastern on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Amar'e Stoudemire, last 6 points for Tri-State, and he is mic'd up.
Here we go, baby, here we go. Hey, let's work, Blue, let's work. I'm gonna roll hard, so your man gotta help. Hey, keep shooting, keep shooting.
Dermarr Johnson, you gotta love it what this guy brings to this team.
And I love when players are mic'd up during the game, because three things happen when players are mic'd up during games. One, you get a chance to see their personality. Two, they give you perspective on what's happening inside the game. And three, most of all, fans get a chance to really feel how passionate players are about playing the game. And if you want to add another one, just their professionalism.
Yes. How about you? When you were mic'd up, did you go back and watch and just get a sense of what it's like for the eyes to be on you?
More when I was a coach than when I was a player.
Okay.
Because when I was a coach, I wanted to make sure that I was articulating myself in a way that the audience could understand, specifically some of the strategies that we were trying to execute throughout the game.
I will say this, you might have been mic'd playing a real game, but you'll always have the movie Eddie.
Whoopi Goldberg,
yes,
you remember that?
I do.
I didn't like the name she called me when I made fun of her.
I won't ask you to reveal it now. I'll make people go watch the movie, VHS or DVD. The last free throw, by the way, by Jason Maxiell ended a stretch for Threes Company. They were 0 of 6 from the line. That's a tough shot for Jay Rich.
Desperately need Jay Rich, especially Amar'e Stoudemire. He needs that second man. We all know Amar'e Stoudemire's Batman on this team, but they need a Robin. And I thought that was a bailout shot a little bit from Jay Rich, but you know, he's made a ton of those shots in his career.
14-2 run, Thompson over Diawara. Maxiell beating Diawara there. And there were a couple bumps that time, and the loose ball foul on Yakhouba Diawara of Tri-State.
50-50 balls, which are basically loose balls that around the top of the key, the three-point line, whichever team can secure a large amount of those, they're going to have a chance to continue to get second shots at the basket or deny their opposing team from getting easy baskets.
Remember, there was an air ball inbounds. I don't think Tri-State was ready for it, but they get it back. Richardson for 4. Emmett down low. Thompson, no foul called. Stoudemire is called for steps. Let's go down to Roz with more on Jason Richardson.
You know, you guys were hyping up Jason Richardson. You weren't the only ones. Before the game, I spoke with Baron Davis, and he told me Jason Richardson was the soul of those We Believe Warriors in 07. He said he was there the longest within the organization. He was a great teammate. He wanted it. Baron said, first player of the game, I'm always looking for Jason Richardson because I trusted him. I knew he would get buckets.
All right, Roz, thanks so much. Yes, that team captivated the Bay Area. You had Davis and Monte Ellis, Steven Jackson, Al Harrington, and Jay Rich himself.
Yeah, Jay Rich was an incredible teammate. Always came to play, ready to play. 2000 NCAA champion with Michigan State.
The Flintstones. And the team Cleaves and company. Jay Rich, reverse, got it. And it's 41-28.
High basketball IQ play. Short clock. You know, Threes Company was looking for a cross screen that Tri-State normally runs underneath out of bounds. Amar'e Stoudemire boarded the play and said, man, I'm going to call an audible here. Great give and go with he and Jay Rich.
Loose ball, Emmett spins in traffic, almost halfway down. Emmett is going to the line. Stoudemire, though, it's been a huge day with 20 points.
Great body control. Splendid finish.
He was a great scorer. Andre Emmett, when he played at Texas Tech for Bob Knight, he twice led the Big 12 in scoring. NBA career didn't go as planned. He played 14 games with Memphis and later for a guy named Avery Johnson in New Jersey.
And in Big 3, you know, contact sometimes can be really excessive. This is not a freedom of movement league.
No.
So to be able to finish inside, gather yourself, keep your composure. Great compact moves by Smith inside.
Old school, to say the least. A throwback. The Big Three in its 3rd season. You have 12 teams this year, 4 new franchises. Most weekends, you have not one but 2 events. They'll be in Atlanta tomorrow in this trip through the Southeast. Hey, look right now, Tri-State built that big lead. Threes Company, courtesy of Emmett, has gotten it to 9 here at 41-32.
There are different cycles of the game, and you have to know when you're in your up cycle, when you're a hot team, you got to continue to do the things that help you secure the lead. Turnovers hurt you, bad shots.
It's a 6-2 Threes Company run. Maxiel turns and scores against Diawara. All of a sudden, they're back within 7.
It's important to get Nate Robinson back in the game.
He's waiting by the table. For now, Richardson, Stoudemire, Diawara press on. Emmett out to Richardson, and he scores. It's ruled a 3 for Jay Rich, and a much-needed one for Tri-State.
Jay Rich didn't have much landing space. That could have been a foul on that 3-point shot.
10-point game. Big possessions for Threes Company. Emmett shakes the shoulders. Maxiel rolls, and he's fouled.
I got you. Thank you.
Stoudemire lost the ball. Too much space.
Subs. Go subs. You got the shoot.
And now comes the opportunity for Steve Mix to get Nate back in the game for Diawara.
Yeah, and give Jason Richardson credit. He missed a couple of threes, you know, early in the game, 2 from the same spot in the right corner. But to have that type of confidence, or what my son calls it, swag.
That's a big term these days. Yes. Well, there hasn't been a lot of 3-point swag for either side here today. That was the second 3 for Richardson and Tri-State as a whole to get the lead back up.
An interesting defensive strategy here. Tri-State started Nate Robinson on Gooden, and now he switched on Emmett.
Almost had the steal, and he's got it. Threw it off of Emmett's going to stay Tri-State ball. Nate Robinson stepping up.
I've been in Nate Robinson's shoes before, you know, 5'10 and a half with my shoes on. When guys tried to post me up, I took it personal. Did not want to get posted up because I thought I might come out of the game.
And everybody in the building knows it's coming every time. Look at him go. Splits a trap, goes to work. Robinson, no. Oohs and ahs in the crowd. Gooden, yes, from 3. Drew Gooden cuts it to 5.
You can't commit a double error. Sometime if you drive to the basket like Nate did and you miss the shot and now you're not alert on defense. I know we're not playing baseball, but that's what we call the double error. Nate missed the shot. Now he didn't recognize that Drew Gooden is hot from behind the 3-point line. He's going to continue to shoot. Don't give him as much room. Force him to drive.
I thought about it from 4-point range. Robinson took it to Emmett, and he's called for the foul. But coming back to your last point, people say 3-on-3, it's so fast. Those types of moments, when you have to account for clearing the ball and getting to the outside, can really intensify the pace.
Yes. Superior ball handling by Nate Robinson. Basically getting around a double team. Unfortunately, shot didn't go down.
The important one there. 2 points, giving Tri-State a 7-point cushion. Nate Robinson with 4 points now. (46-39).
Dermarr Johnson is eventually going to have to make a 3. They're going to bring over a double team, but they brought it from the wrong side.
Remember, a 4-point shot would win it for Tri-State. Instead, Stoudemire, pick and roll, and a foul. Underneath is going to send Stat back to the stripe.
Outstanding recognition from Jason Richardson. As soon as the defender in the pick and roll showed or tried to provide help, he led Stoudemire. Stoudemire, great catch.
Free throws not going down for either side in Birmingham. Dermarr Johnson lets it fly and scores. They were waiting for that all day.
We've been begging for a three from Dermarr. Not just because he's another Johnson in the house.
Yes.
I wasn't a three-point shooter.
4-point contest. Robinson crossover. Hangs and hits. And it's point game coming up for Tri-State.
Great fundamentals of the game. Being able to use your right hand and your left hand.
Emmett offensive board and putback for Three's Company.
Nate Robinson is just such a consummate pro. Plays hard. Great. That was a splendid example of showing you that since I'm a little guy, I have to be creative and savvy.
Little Nate improvising, getting to the basket.
Crossover dribble. Release that left-handed shot before the defender can come over and help.
Here's Steve Mix subbing in for Dr. J. Most associated with the 76ers, but he played for the Lakers. He went out there just before the playoffs in 1983. Lakers losing that series to Dr. J and Philadelphia. Championship for the city of brotherly love. Michael Cooper on the losing side then, but Avery, no question, he is a winner to the tune of 5 titles with LA.
Such a successful career. Coop played the game the right way. He was an exceptional teammate. This is where coaching really comes and it's important in the Big Three. When you have a lead like Tri-State, how creative can you get with your attacks?
Point game. Richardson against Emmett. Jay Rich offloads. Robinson for the win. Almost. Three's Company still breathing.
Tri-State tried to run a little bit of a flare and a slip pick and roll with Amar'e, but Three's Company didn't bite on it.
Emmett against Stoudemire. Inside, Johnson blocked. They can win it here. Short, Stoudemire rimmed out, but count it. Goaltending to win it for Tri-State.
That's going to be reviewed. I think they're going to review it.
That's what Michael Cooper is asking for. Amar'e thinks it's over. Let's take another look.
Loose ball. Guys are hustling, bodies are flying around.
Let's see if it was touched. Oh, he came through. Looked like he hit the net while it was still on the rim. And it was Drew Gooden.
Yes. I think they're going to count this basket.
I do too. Remember, the initial call was goaltending. You can see right there, up through the rim. Everybody on the baseline saying that was goaltending. They will count the basket, and the ball game is over. Tri-State with their first win here in 2019.
They got the call correct. Now, if we were playing internationally, then that's play on.
Legal.
It's legal.
But in Alabama, in the 50 states, not quite. Tri-State, a much-needed victory. Their first. Three's Company, late surge, but they fall short here in Birmingham. Let's go to Roz with Jason Richardson.
Congratulations. You guys got your your first win. What did it take to finally get over that hump?
It's just playing hard. We had a couple of close games. The first two we should have won. We knew this was a must-win for us with 8 games in the season. So I was glad my teammates came out here. We played hard and got the win.
And I love the way you just kept shooting. You know, the three wasn't going down at first, but then you hit a big one when it mattered most. What helped keep your confidence up?
I'm a shooter. We're going to go through streaks. So you got to keep shooting the ball. My teams want me to shoot the ball. You know, and they finally start going in.
So you got that gunner mentality, and there's all these one-on-one opportunities, but then you got a guy like Stat who's killing. How do you make decisions on, like, when do I go versus when do I feed in a 3-on-3 format?
Well, we know Stat go get the ball. He's our go-to guy. He's going to get us points in the paint. But he's doing a good job when he getting double. He's kicking it out to us, to the shooters, and we got to knock down the shots.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right, Roz, felt like 7 seconds or less. Stoudemire with 22, Richardson with 14, Tri-State 50, Threes Company 44 to kick off this triple header. More to come from Birmingham on CBS Sports Network.